He says the harvest truly is plenteous, and the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore to the Lord of the harvest that he'll send forth laborers. Here's the service that's needed: laborers. He didn't say pray and ask God to get the job done. He can do it all by... No, he said pray the Lord of the harvest to send forth laborers. Men are needed. God needs men. He needs laborers in the vineyard. He needs laborers in the field to gather the harvest. But what kind of men does he need? Laborers. When you pass by a man on the street, do you ever think there is a soul that's going to spend eternity somewhere? 10 million years from now, that man's going to be either in heaven or in hell. Do you think about that? Or you just see him as another fellow who will soon pass off the stage? Christ doesn't see like we see. He placed a value on them. He didn't see them as blades of grass or pebbles by the seashore or grains of sand on the beach, but he saw them as ripened wheat, ready to be harvested. And then when he pictured the multitudes as a plenteous harvest, there's also the thought of danger. You see, when a field is ripe and it's ready to be harvested, there's a danger. There's the danger of not getting it in. It must be harvested. The harvest won't wait. When a man's fields are ripe and it's ready to be harvested, immediately he goes out and begins to hire laborers and get as many people as he can. He can't wait. He must have a certain number of people because he's got a crop that must be gathered. Here is an immediate need as well as a danger. It must be taken care of now. He can't get a little bit in September, and a little more in October, and a little more in November, and a little more in December. The job must be done. There's a danger. There's an immediate need. I don't know whether it bothers you or not, but it certainly bothers me, and I'm burdened more than I've ever been about it. What a great potential we have in how many people there are here to be reached with the gospel. And when I look at how little we're doing, I wonder sometimes if God doesn't look down and say, why don't you speed up? Why don't you enlist more people? Why don't some others get busy in the field and gather in the grain that's already ripe? There's a danger. Once the grain falls, it's too late. When the man dies without Jesus Christ, it's too late. I wonder how much grain has already fallen. And that's gone. There's absolutely no way to go back and get it. Here's a danger. Once it's lost forever. When a man dies without Jesus Christ, he goes into hell. It's an irretrievable loss. There's no possibility of ever getting him out. You see, there's an immediate need. There's a danger implied. Men are going to hell, and we seem to be unconcerned about it. And when he likened the multitudes to a plenteous harvest, there's the thought here that the masses were accessible. I know it's argued nowadays that people won't listen to you. You can tell them, they'll turn a deaf ear. But I beg to differ with you. People will hear you. Man has a hunger in his heart for God. He's built that way. There's a void in his heart. There's an aching in his heart that only Jesus Christ can satisfy, and man is willing to listen. But the problem is not with the harvest, but with the laborers. Well, you said I went out and this fellow wouldn't get saved. Well, you quit, didn't you? You ought to have kept going. I found out that a lot of rebellious young folk listen. The truth is, you haven't been telling them anything. Oh, you may go down and say, well, you dirty bunch of morons, you ought to go get a haircut. Listen, why don't you lead him to Jesus, and Jesus lead him to the barber? Now listen. The harvest truly is plenteous. The masses are accessible. But we let the liquor crowd have it. We let the cigarette crowd have it. We let the dope crowd have it. And we're afraid to spend any money to reach multitudes. Cost a lot. Well, wait a minute. Don't you think the souls are worth it? I'll never be satisfied standing in the edge of the field getting one grain occasionally. I'll never be satisfied till I'm right in the middle of the field with a sickle in both hands and it's falling everywhere and somebody's grabbing it. Maybe you will, but I can't. There's the idea that the masses were accessible. They're there. Tomorrow in your office, you're going to have 3 or 4 people unsaved. They're accessible. You're going to have lunch tomorrow with somebody that's unsaved. They're accessible. You're going to sit there and talk about who done your hair up last week. Are you going to talk about a new bedroom suit you bought? You're going to waste 45 minutes doing nothing day after day till finally that grain falls in the field. No, the multitudes are accessible. The harvest truly is plenteous. Here it is, boys. They're out there. They're standing up. They're saying, come get me. Come get me.